Hello and welcome to Full-Time Live here on the Fulhamish YouTube channel. Sammy, Jack and Nathan here, and with 12 minutes to go, I was really excited for this, but you know what's happened. 3 goals in 9 minutes and there's no way of dressing it up. A really, really tough defeat for Fulham. So if you're a Fulham fan, come commiserate with us. If you're a Geordie fan, or well, I guess if you're a Villa fan, like, why are you here? Why do you care? If you're a Newcastle fan, go fuck off. Jack, sum up your thoughts, really.
Yeah, just don't really have much to say. Thought we were okay. I thought we played well, but sat too deep once we scored and invited pressure, and fell apart in a way I haven't really seen since West Brom away. So, yeah, this one hurts probably the most all season, I think.
Yeah, Nath, just sum up your thoughts, really. There's no way of glossing this up. I feel like after the Leeds defeat, we were like, but we played well, and Leeds are a tough team. And after Man City, we were saying, but it's Man City. This one is shit. This one is a fucking blow. And there's not really any other way of dressing it up.
No, I mean, look, I don't think we played particularly well today. Like, I think we had moments of being okay. I thought, you know, I put it in the chat. I think we would have looked like, God help us if Grealish had played today, because I think, you know, him not being there papered over a lot of how poor we were in terms of holding the ball up. We were ripe for making a mistake. Like we fucked around with it in the back far too much, where we would, you know, we just played some really poor passes. We got away with the penalty, and ultimately, Jack's exactly right. We just didn't hold on to it, and part of that is Scott. Like, I think Scott really missed a trick in terms of making some subs and in terms of some of his on-field, like, or excuse me, touchline management. You know, he's not very quick to make a sub at times, and I thought we had some players who could have really kind of just bolstered that back line a bit. And you know, they were screaming for Anguissa to come on, and I think that would have been a good shout. But ultimately, this is the player's fault. Tosin makes an absolutely ludicrous decision to turn around like that, and you know, on that one, you know, Trezeguet's both of his goals were very well taken, but ultimately, yeah, the players let it down and just took their eye off the ball once we got the goal.
Yeah, I mean, I see a comment like this, and I totally understand it, right? I feel like this after, you know, a defeat like this, it hurts. And he says, "How can you say we played well?" But Jack, with 78 minutes gone, I'm thinking it's the perfect performance. We rode the storm.
It is an away match. It is an away match. Like, if you get a win on an away match, fair play.
Mate, away or home doesn't make a bloody difference this season, Nathan. Literally, it's been proven that it is away or home. It's an absolute irrelevancy this season. For 78 minutes, Jack, I actually think Fulham did play well. Look, what matters is what happened in those 9 minutes where we conceded 3 goals. I get that, but let's not just pretend that Fulham were absolute dog shit for this game. We had a horrible 10 minutes. It all fell apart. But I get the frustration. I'm not trying to single someone out here. I just think that you've got to get it into a little bit of perspective here.
Yeah, we played fine. We were good. We were good value. We deserved our lead. We limited Villa to no chances apart from 10 free kicks they had in the first half. And they didn't have a shot on target up until after we scored. They had a shot saved by Areola.
Precisely.
So we actually played really well. We did a job on them and limited the likes of Watkins. And up until that moment before we scored, it was one of our strongest performances of the season, the way we nullified them. But 9 minutes then basically exposes us, and then people will say we didn't play well at all. But I thought for 80% of the game, we were more than competent. So yeah, we played well.
I think Nathan, you see a comment like this, Alan James, lack of control possession after taking the lead, let Villa back in, weird game. And I think that was a big part of it for me. Yeah. We went in front and it didn't look like the old Fulham.
It's a bit like, was it the Burnley game where we scored against Burnley and then immediately turned around and they hit us on the counterattack? It was a very similar sort of thing where I think we had a defensive miscue. It may have even been Tosin in the midfield where I'm trying to remember exactly how it happened, but it was very, very quick after we had scored against Burnley. And we have this issue where when we do score, we sort of let up a little bit, and we don't kind of calm things down. We sit off the ball a bit. And I don't know what the problem is. That happened at West Brom as well, where we just didn't, push as hard. And I think, Sammy, to your point, there were positive things. This wasn't a horrific performance from the majority of the game. I thought, and let's not forget, like Mitro, very good performance today. Worked his tail off, caused Mings and Konsa all sorts of problems throughout the match. Created some really good opportunities, and probably on another day maybe scores another one, maybe gets another goal. But that sort of lapse of concentration is something that we did early in the season. And it's honestly, if we go down, and it's not assured one way or the other, that's the real reason why we'll go down. It's the sort of the missed opportunities, throwing games away where we could have had 3 points. We settle for a draw. Yeah, it's the missed penalty kicks, but ultimately football, it's about sort of doing what you need to do to get the job done. And, today, like too many times this season, we didn't do that. And let's be clear, like I said in those comments, I'm not calling for Scott's head. Like, I actually think we should stick with Scott. If we go down to the championship or we stay up, he's a young guy, he's still learning, give him some time. But this is part of his managerial performance review at the end of the season that he will need to improve upon if we're to be a better squad in the years going ahead.
Yeah, this question from Jamie Daniel Moon says, outcoached second game in a row. D. Smith made 2 changes, different systems, scored 2 goals in 10 minutes. Scott Parker didn't react, levels. And you saw that Scott Parker was just about to bring on Anthony Robinson when the goal goes in, and he actually turns to Anthony Robinson and says, not now. I find it hard to disagree with what Jamie's said there, Jack. I think the game management, when we were 1-0 up, was a bit naive, was a bit slow. Or is this just, perfect hindsight? Hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Well, you can say that we went 1-0 up at Liverpool and sat back, but I know this is a different quality and opposition in Liverpool. But yeah, it's very naive, because I remember a game so poignant in the Premier League season 2 years ago. We took the lead against Wolves on Boxing Day, and we just sat back and waited basically for them to come on to us. We basically did the same again. We lacked control in midfield, and yeah, maybe we should have brought in Anguissa for a third midfielder just to shore things up in midfield. But I'm just so sad. I don't really know what to say, really, because
I just want to give Jack a little cuddle. He needs a hug or something.
I'm looking at the goal now, and not much is. We're keeping a good line. They come with the second phase with do
you mean are you talking about the first goal here?
Yeah, sorry, the equaliser. Yeah, and it's the pullback basically just takes us out, and it goes.
And doesn't it deflect or something? Like, I think, doesn't it deflect off of a player a little bit, or
it goes past Tosin, and he kind of doesn't really get out for the block, and then it just beats Areola. But there's not an awful lot wrong with that, but it's just.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, yes, we like. Completely, we let ourselves down. But Trezeguet's, both of his goals are not clear cut, just tap ins. Like Ollie Watkins' final goal, that's just a good finish. Trezeguet still has stuff to do there, and he hits both of those very well.
Second goal.
I mean, this one here from Rafik in Sydney, I thought was a decent point.
Yeah, because we were horrible against Leeds.
After the Liverpool game, we looked overconfident and our defence has become sloppy. Jack, I don't necessarily disagree. I feel like there maybe was a bit of an overconfidence after that Liverpool game in our defence. And have they believed their own hype a little bit?
No, I don't agree with that, because our next game was against Manchester City, who press ridiculously high. So, and we're always going to stick to our principles, which is playing out from the back, as we always do. And mistakes will come from that sort of press that you get from Man City. I just think it's just one of those where we've been so solid all season that mistakes like this are more noticeable because they come around less frequent. And it just so happens that they're just more, that they just cost more now because we're in a situation like this where we've only got now 7 games to go. I wouldn't say that we got overconfident. I think you just get confidence from that performance, and you get hit by a mistake against Leeds, 2 mistakes against City, and a mistake here, and it's just going to cost us at the end of the day, which is so disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, Layla says we've been too overhyped after the Liverpool game, and we're probably guilty a little bit of believing the hype. Nathan, obviously, Newcastle getting a point today isn't ideal, and there's lots of people in the comments here saying it's over, it's done, 7 games of the season left, it's over. give up. Just quit. Cancel the podcast. Which slightly irritates me, although I do understand the frustration. Is it over? Is that it? Is it done? Might as well give up.
I mean, if we play like we did against Leeds, and if we play like we did in that 10 minutes today, then yeah, like we don't have a chance. Like we've not been good enough over the last 3 matches to stay up. I don't think it's over. I mean, there's a lot that can happen. And I don't know. I mean, all the games we're playing left, we can get something off of. If we get anything could happen if we go into the last game of the season ahead on goal differential and 3 points behind Newcastle. I mean, I don't know how the two of you feel. Part of me just dreads that it would be the ugliest game of football. It would just be 90 minutes of, Newcastle knowing that a point would keep them safe. Really ugly football. But we've got to go. We've got to take it one match at a time. And I think the most disappointing thing was just that we weren't prepared to go 90 minutes mentally today.
Yeah. I mean, Dean Gribble says it's not over, keep it to 3 points. And I do kind of agree with that, Jack. Like there isn't a clear agenda here. I was hoping at one point that we could avoid that whole showdown with Newcastle on the final day of the season. I don't think we're going to now. I think we're going to have to go and win that game, unfortunately. But what do you think? Surely that's still got to just be front and center. And hopefully Scott is the kind of person that will see it that way. Real disappointment, but we've got an objective here. Hang in the fight.
Yeah, Scott Parker's said all season, don't get too high and don't get too low. I said this before, even before the game on the radio today. We have 2 chances to overtake Newcastle before they next play. If we get 3 points against Wolves, which we can recover and we can get a result, then psychologically we're in the driving seat with them having to go to Burnley, which will not be easy. And then we'd be level on points going into that game for Newcastle. I'm not going to sit here and start going like, oh yeah, we can still stay up, because I'm really down at the moment, and I don't really have that kind of motivation. But if we can just stick to our game plan, stick to the mentality we've kept all season, then we give ourselves a fighting chance. But after that capitulation, which I did not see coming, by the way, it's going to be very tough to get through the week.
I mean, Tony Sparry, sorry, puts it nicely here, Nave. It's not over. A win at Wolves and Newcastle pick up nothing, then we're above them. Well, it doesn't even matter if, we play on the Friday night before Wolves this weekend. Win at Wolves, we're out the relegation zone. I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now. There is a psychological block to this Fulham team, and I think they froze today. Mm-hmm. Maybe at the thought, I don't know if it's that subconsciously, deep down, I think they thought, wow, we're really achieving something here. And I do think they froze on the big stage. Win at Wolves, get that monkey off our back. Even if we just get out the relegation zone for 24 hours, I think will be massive for this team. Psychology plays a massive part in these things. I think it's easy to underestimate it.
It's huge. It's huge. And I think today, I actually almost texted the group. I said, we scored too soon because, Mitra picks up that chance. And to be fair, he's just very calm. It's lovely. He's just obviously in a lot of confidence, which that also bodes well. Like, I mean, I know some people in our comments are kind of quick to write Mitra off, thinks he had a horrible game. I actually thought he had a very good game today. He caused all sorts of problems. He laid the ball off well. He was hustling. He was looking for shots. He took some really hard shots that, in other times. Martinez is also a very good keeper, by the way. And, other keepers might spill those out. And so, we score. And I think the idea of ending today out of the relegation zone would have been huge, like huge. It's just really hard to underestimate just how big that would have been. But I think you're exactly right. We froze like deer in the headlights. And, the players sort of were scared of messing up. Like when you start playing like you're afraid of losing a lead, then that's, you've already thrown away half of the match. We didn't do that against Liverpool. Ironically, we sort of played safe, but we kept going in. And I think that's where Scott should have made a sub, something to sort of add a little bit of energy in there. But yeah, it's one game. We go and we beat Wolves. It's all back on. It's not over with. This is an ugly Premier League season in terms of the bottom of the table. So it's not over. But I mean, what's disappointing is that Scott was so harsh after the Leeds game. Like, we haven't heard him sort of that disappointed in his team publicly. And so it's just a shame that we weren't able to string something together today.
Chris Lewis says, does Anderson's quality gloss over the fact that Tosin isn't all that? A lot of mistakes creeping in. The thing with Tosin, I am it is getting a bit more exposed. And Guy, who is part of like the Fulhamish crew, you might hear him on the podcast every now and again, said a few weeks ago, he said, I'm not actually 100% sure about Tosin. And actually, I wonder if Congolo is the better option. And we all went straight back at him. Like, fuck off, Guy, stupid idiot. Like, how? And I hate to say it, right? I like Tosin Adarabioyo. I think he's a good player. I think he's got a good potential future. It's his first season in the Premier League, Jack, though. And I think maybe some of that inexperience is coming to the fore. I'm not writing him off as a player, but I think we're seeing a player that's not played a full season at the top flight before, you know, and mistakes just starting to creep into his game.
Yeah, but I think most of his mistakes have come down from the fact that he's just sticking to the system. And I remember Jokanovic always saying, you know, if mistakes come from playing out from the back, then that's on him. That's on Jokanovic because he's set out players to do that. And it's almost similar with Tosin. I'm not sure what Parker's stance on that is in terms of where the fault lies. But these are all just learning experiences that Tosin can grow from. I don't think it's let's get Congolo in because Congolo hasn't played any football this season. And has been one of our better players this season. I mean, there's been a lot of good players this season, and Tosin deserves credit. He just has had a couple of bad games, and it happens in a career. You know, he said about Mitrovic, you know, he's had a bad moment in his career, and it happens to every player. I don't think, and this is the thing about football fans, they get so impatient and fickle. One mistake, and it's something like, we need to change this. We need to change. Just stick with the guy because we've had him with Anderson all season. And mostly he's done very, very well. So, yeah, I'm not going to start getting on the players' back, especially under this.
I did go back and look, and it was Tosin who Jay Rodriguez just blew past in that midfield. And there's something, maybe, Jack, to your point against Burnley, maybe it's to your point that there's something in that system that Tosin, he just gets exposed a few times, and he needs to know that when he's in that midfield, when he's trying to pass that around, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. And the only thing I would say about Anderson, we all love Anderson, but he made some really, really dangerous and poor pass. I thought his passing was really poor today out of the back, where he had these sort of crossfield passes that were intercepted a few times, nearly picked off. So, like, I think actually our back line had a not an amazing performance all around today. Kitty Tete played well, but outside of that, everyone else was kind of average.
So let's finish with this some maybe positivity. I don't know, just a bit of an overall analysis. Jack, the situation, it's 3 points behind Newcastle. Like, your overall assessment, how much of a setback is today?
I think psychologically it's huge because we were 1-up. And when we usually go 1-0 up, especially away from home, we're pretty good at seeing out a result. We saw it at Liverpool, we saw it at Everton. I'm just watching Parker speak now. He looks gutted, and I think everyone's going to be gutted. And it's going to be hard to bounce back from this against a Wolves team who don't really have much to play for. And obviously,
it's not a bad game to have next, is it? And they play Monday night as well. 24 hours less rest. I could think of worse games to have.
Yeah, it's true. And Lookman went off injured. We don't know the extent of his injury.
Yeah.
But it's just one of them where I've had to just turn my phone off tonight and just give it a rest because it could get toxic on the Bird app.
Yeah, it really could be. And Nathan, an assessment, please, before we finish.
Look, let's not underestimate the fact that whatever happens for the rest of this year, nice to see Mitro back in the goals. He's had an absolutely barnstorming international break. It was nice to see him play with a bit of confidence. Happy to be out there. I have to be honest, like I don't look quite as depressed as Jack, but I just like that just felt like a punch in the gut. Like I turned off for the last 5 or 10 minutes and was killing people on Apex Legends, just running around the map because it felt a little bit therapeutic to blow someone's head with a shotgun rather than watching our season collapse in front of me. And it's everything that we hate and we love about football, right? Like there's sort of the highs and the joys of watching Mitro around Martinez and put it into the net and getting the noise violations from your neighbors, but I mean, just this sort of Fulhamish collapse. It's just so classic, and it really hurts today. And Scott is going to have a hell of an effort to get the players up for Friday night. Like I really think, and Wolves, yes, it's a good match, but Wolves are also a bit of a bugbear for us. Like they're not an easy team to break down sometimes, especially for us. So, I mean, look, we just have to put this in a box till Friday. No good decisions will be made in the heat of the moment. We're not in a toxic situation like Newcastle. Whether we stay up or whether we go down, I know Fulham fans and football fans don't like this. We're actually a pretty well-run club. Parker's going to need some help and support becoming a manager, but there's an upside there. And for Jack Kelly's sake, let's hope that we beat Wolves. A little love there. But look, whatever happens this year, at least we're competitive towards the end. I mean, that's the only thing I will say. Because remember when we started this year, if you had told us that, look, there's a chance we're going to go into the last day with a chance to be promoted, we would have bit your hand off at that chance because of how bad it was. I'm frustrated, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think like all these things, there's a middle ground to everything. Are we 100% down? Are we doomed? Is it game over? No. Can we gloss over this and say, don't worry about it, it's absolutely fine? No. It's somewhere in between. It's not doom and gloom, but it's also not that rosy. Like everything, there nearly always is a middle ground, and that is exactly what I think here. And I think David's words there, that mostly just for Jack Kelly's sake, I think that, a win on Friday night would be lovely. Thank you for watching today. There's more of you here than I expected. I was honestly expecting about 6 people to be watching, and all of them to be Newcastle fans. So thanks for wallowing with us. Podcast tomorrow should be out very, very soon. It's got some exclusive audio with Scott Parker, which is maybe not quite going to age as well as you'd have hoped for. But Alan Shearer interviewing Scott Parker, not a bad little coup for the podcast. So check that out tomorrow, maybe once you've had a few drinks and recovered from the pain of today. Jack, have a nice evening. Stay off the bird app.
Yeah, I'll be eating a bird in roast duck in about an hour, so happy days.
Very, very nice.
Good.
Nathan, have a good evening.
All love.
All right. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Up for Fulham.
Yeah. So